But we are joined this morning by our guests for the news review. Nana Yaw Sarpong is political assistant to the Alad Trematin campaign. We also have Osei Kofi Akwa, National Communications Director of the CPP. Gentlemen, good morning.
Good morning, Ben.
So usually on the AM show, we give our guests a minute and a half, at most 2 minutes, to walk us through their trail of thoughts. What's the most topical thing on your mind this morning? Let's start with you.
Well, good morning to you and our viewers. The Convention People's Party is on a campaign, and we've come up with about 3 flagship programs. The Ghana Bar shares. We also have the Agro Show, and then we also, let me go through the Ghana Bar shares and then Agro Show. Then I'll come to the rest of the flagship programs. So we have always said the Ghanaian farmer has not really got the best of life. They go to the farm early in the morning, come back late in the evening, and what they get is peanuts. This is because after the harvest, it is the buyer who comes to the roadside, buy the food by giving the Ghanaian farmer the price that they want. The Convention People's Party is offering the Ghanaian farmer a choice. This 2024, vote for the Convention People's Party. And this time, government will be the first buyer of every harvest that the farmer harvests. That is the Agro Show. And what it means is that young people will be assured of getting good prices when they venture into farming. So that is what the Agro Show is about.
Okay, you'd have to be quick on the other one because you have literally 2 minutes and you've spent
so then
all
we
that.
have also the Ghana Bar shares, where we believe that every district, every town has got their own God-given natural resources. If you go to somewhere in the Ashanti region, say Achumango Beja South, they harvest more of ginger. What we are saying is that we are going to put up a factory in that district where that factory is going to be resourced by the ginger, and then they can have a ginger factory. This factory is going to be owned by the people within that community. And that is what we mean by the Ghana Bar shares, where every citizen, every Ghanaian living in that community become a shareholder of that company that will be established there. This is not like the one district, one factory where certain individuals who are party affiliates are giving they are giving priority over other Ghanaians who could have also been stakeholders in the same factory. So basically, that's what I want to talk about now. Yes.
Right. Okay. Nana Yaw Sarpong.
Yes. So good morning once again. So basically, I also want to touch on 2 things. First one is misinformation that is going around, and it's being created by a young man called Ohiniba Nana Siedu of another media house. It's political, so I think that I have to state it, of Wontumi TV. Now, what he's done is that he's made a video.
Let's try to stay away from mentioning other brands.
He's made a video that is going around saying that election 2024 December is going to be held on 2 different counts, and that the day 1 is from candidate 1 to 7, and day 2 is from candidate 8 to 13. And this is misinformation, and I think that the Ghana Police Service should be able to invite him. He's misinforming, he's miseducating, and they do not need somebody to make a complaint. We have taken the initiative of sending this video to the commissioner, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission. We've sent it to Samuel Tete.
Right.
We've also put it on the presidential candidates platform, and we've sent it to the IGP. They ought to be able to arrest this gentleman and put him before court.
Okay.
This is dangerous, actually.
This is
so the person is basically saying, and you look at the political slant.
Yes.
So 1 to 7, and then 8 being the number of the NDC, and then
the 13
the 13,
is my candidate.
the last number being your candidate.
Yes.
From 8 to 13,
And-
supposedly day 2, which is a lie.
Yes. This is not the first time they started it. That one we are still looking for the video about the dollar, where they were going into the villages and saying that if you have a dollar, you have a lot of cedis on your hands. And so if you change the government, they will reduce the number of cedis that you're going to get to a dollar. We actually reported it to the Bank of Ghana that they should take charge and arrest those gentlemen.
Do you know whether anything was done?
That was the early days when this dollar to a CD was around 16 cedis, and we actually reported them to some of these institutions. And I think they are doing a disservice to this nation. You don't put out this kind of information just because you want to gain political power. It's out of desperation. It's out of desperation and frustration, in my view. I mean,
And it's a thinking that Ghanaians are stupid.
yes.
It's in a subtle way thinking
but the point
Ghanaians
is that
are
most
foolish
of our
and that.
mothers and our fathers, about this dollar, I got a call from a former client in Sesreso, of the Doma getting to Cote d'Ivoire, because she is a businesswoman. She buys these cashew nuts.
Cashew nuts.
So she was a bit surprised. And because I was in the banking, she called and was like, Nana, is this true? I was like, I was actually one who said this can happen. So it's going down there. And so you would end up, when the Electoral Commission is pushing that a lot of people should go out there and vote, when we are all pushing people to go out there and vote on the 7th of December, then you have an educated Ghanaian young man who have access to a platform, data, sit to misinform the whole nation.
So we have to make tracks, but two things come to mind. The
I'll share the
regulatory-
video with your producer.
Please do, and also share whatever follow-ups you get, whether there will be any action from the EC, from the Ghana Police Service,
Very
and
well.
others. Because this is not misinformation, this is disinformation. It is
Yes.
intentional.
Yeah.
The person knows exactly what.
And it's
if
criminal.
it is true, then the person knows what he's doing. But let's get into
Right.
the papers now.
Okay, I start. Daily Guide newspaper. NDC quote thugs attack NPP Zongo team. I was just catching up on the story to be sure that they're actually NDC thugs. But apparently the story says that these are people who were seen in branded NDC shirts, and they, after whatever they did, they entered an NDC branded vehicle. We get to that in a bit. On election 2024, you're safe with us. The IGP assures the media. Yesterday they met with the management of all media houses, I think, and Dr. George Ekufu Dampare gave that speech. So Cheddar makes inroads on constituencies tour. Okwe Jr. roots for Baumia. Kozie's Champions League unveils hidden talents. Herbert Krapper is energy minister. Let's get straight into the stories. I want to start with the IGP's assurance to the public that we are safe with the police service. And that story is on page 3 of the Daily Guide newspaper. The Ghana Police Service has assured the media of its commitment to their safety during the 2024 general election. And this assurance was highlighted during a stakeholder engagement in Accra yesterday at the police headquarters between the police leadership, led by Inspector General of Police Dr. George Ekufu Dampare, senior journalists and news editors. And IGP Dr. Ekufu Dampare emphasized that the media is a key stakeholder in this year's election, and as such requires the protection and support of the police to effectively fulfill its responsibilities. Working word here, protection. No journalist should be attacked for doing their job. That should be the focus. Cheddar makes inroads on constituencies tour. Herbert Krapper is energy minister, of course. President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has elevated the Minister of State at the Ministry of Energy, Herbert Krapper, to a substantive Minister of Energy for, quote, contributing significantly to the progress and stability of Ghana's energy sector. Now, according to the president, Mr. Krapper, again, quote, has demonstrated exceptional diligence, professionalism, and steadfast commitment to his duties, contributing significantly to the progress and stability of Ghana's energy sector. I want to run through the main stories in here, and then I'll come to you, gentlemen. Alan, touch not the anointed. This is an editorial. New NGO launched at Drobo, and in Pakistan, suicide bombing kills several. Uganda's Kizza Besigye kidnapped in Kenya, taken to military court, and Ukraine fires UK-supplied Storm Shadow missiles. Now, there's a story about NDC thugs attacking NPP Zongo team, a group of thugs believed to be associated with the opposition National Democratic Congress, on Monday disrupted a campaign organized by the National Zongo campaign team of the New Patriotic Party at Tyne in the Bono region, and videos making rounds capture the coat thugs, some of whom were wearing NDC-branded T-shirts, dismantling tents mounted by the NPP group at the Brohani community, while attendants at the campaign events looked on, and they were then seen jumping into an NDC-branded pickup vehicle after the distraction. Okwe Junior roots for Baumia. Cheddar makes inroads this year again. Kozier's Champions League unveils hidden talents. On the anti-LGBTQ case, Supreme Court delivers judgment on December 18. So the Supreme Court will deliver judgment on December 18. The Supreme Court has set December 18 to give its judgment in 2 separate cases challenging the passage of the Proper Human Sexual Rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill 2024. We look forward to what that judgment will be. NPP blows alarm on NDC election plots. This has been going on all week. Customs seized arms at Tema Port, and this is where I want to end. So the Customs Division of Ghana Revenue Authority on Monday intercepted a massive consignment of illicit arms and ammunition at the Tema Port. The weapons, which included 53 pistols, 65 pieces of live ammunition, 75 magazines, and a PC holster, were intercepted at the Golden Jubilee Terminal at the port. And the seizure followed a routine inspection by the customs officers at the Golden Jubilee Terminal on November 15th, during which they uncovered the firearms concealed in 3 suitcases in a 40-footer container from the United States of America. I do not know what the link is to elections, but what is this enthusiasm around arms these days in this country? But gentlemen, this is where I'll end. Let's get into it. Let me start with you, Kofi. What will be your reflection on these stories?
Well, first of all, I agree with the IGP that Ghanaians must be safe before, during, and after the elections. That is their mandate per the Constitution. They are supposed to maintain law and order in this country. And of course, we have ourselves a Constitution which states that there will be election in every 4 years. The Electoral Commission will conduct that elections. And when Ghanaians cast their votes, when Ghanaians finally make decisions, the Electoral Commission shall declare who Ghanaians want to lead this country. And so this is more of a pure law and order activity, which has no room for hooliganism and all that. So it is the duty of the Ghana Police Service to make sure that not only journalists, but Ghanaians as a whole are all safe. And what happened at this time, raises the question of whether indeed the IGP means what he said. Because I believe there is a district or perhaps a police service at time. So what intelligence did they pick about a supposed rally that was impending? Did they provide security? Why did we see what we saw in the videos where, you know, a supposed rally was taking place and then all of a sudden people were dismantling tents and all that? Why did we see that? So, Mr. IGP, it's about time you walk the talk. Let me put it that way. You walk the talk. At least if you have taken a stand that every Ghanaian must be safe before, during, and after the elections, then this communique should go down to the district, should go down to every police station and every police post, so that the police service are seen as being ready for the task ahead.
Right.
Now, let me go quick on the arms that have been intercepted at the ports. Yeah. Like you asked, what is the big deal about arms in this country these days, especially prior to the elections? I think that even though these arms were intercepted, we should have kept it from the public. I mean, there's the intelligence bureau at the Ghana Armed Forces, the national security and all that. Already there's so much tension in the pending elections.
Is there?
Yeah, of course. You saw people dismantling tents at time. It could have degenerated into anything. So when
I want to disagree slightly because I think the Kode report said that there's a very calm atmosphere. It's not a politically charged climate as we think it is.
Well, I've been around the country.
Yes,
I've been to the grassroots, the constituencies and all that. And I'm telling you that it's very charged. I mean, we've seen the blame game on. You talked about the blame game going on between the NPP and the NDC about a certain, and I have it here. I think I'll mention it. It is charged. And, come events cast their shadows. Look, let's not play. Let's not pretend that's all okay. I believe some time ago the Ivorians thought that, well, it was just a normal elections until it became something else.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is that when such arms, when certain things like this, which frightens the public, which cause fear and panic, let me put it that way, is apprehended by the security forces, there's a way they have to go about it. Because if I pick up the papers or I watch Joy News this morning, and I'm hearing for the first time that these are arms which have been confiscated at the port, and they were being brought in illegally, I should be worried.
Okay.
I should be scared.
We need to move on.
Yes. So to me, I think that we should handle it very well.
Okay. I want to play the devil's advocate and ask. You are saying that if someone was watching us for the first time this morning, I heard you say that it's a politically charged climate. Wouldn't that also, cause any kind of fear?
But the point is, it is the truth as it is.
Okay.
And this wake-up call is not meant for the public. It's meant for the security service.
All right. Okay.
That this is the atmosphere we're dealing with.
Nana,
they have to rise up to the occasion.
All right, thank you. Nana Yasapon.
Sweetie, I just want to start from where my brother ended. That has to do with the IGP's call that we should feel safe with them. Of course, as the head of police, he has to give us that level of assurance that indeed we are in safe hands and that indeed nothing is going to happen. We're just going to vote, get the votes counted, we declare the results, we have the winner, and then we go to our homes, either in white or otherwise. And so it's a good call. We appreciate his honesty in telling us that we are safe. But one thing in joining it to the arms issue is that there is some level of political tension. Let us not sweep it under the carpet. There is some level of political tension. If you look at what is happening, even from the Supreme Court case on Ghana's parliament, where most of us are of the view that looking at what was happening or what did happen at the Supreme Court, if there are issues, we would not want to run to the court. You understand? And it means that there's going to be a lot of tension at the polling stations. Because the Supreme Court told us that elections are not won in the court. Elections are won at the polling station. They have proven to us that even where Parliament has its own rules and has its own regulations and procedures, if you bring it to the court, it is otherwise. It means that you have to take your destiny into your own hands. And so the police should be prepared and should be ready to actually help to deal with issues at the polling station level. And so that assurance is very much important. And I think that it is timely also. Today, I think the IGP will be meeting political parties and independent presidential candidates and their representatives. And I believe that it is the same call that he's going to put out to us and also assure us. But the issue about this gentleman putting out that information and actually turning things upside down and trying to put Ghanaians into, you used a term, disinform Ghanaians on the processes and the procedures and the dates of election should be taken up. Okay. And I just sent it to the Peace Council, a rep of the Peace Council who called yesterday inviting us to a program. And I just texted him, I told him that, listen, take action on this one and then we will know that indeed you are prepared to have peace. You understand? If this gentleman is picked up, we would all be scared to do otherwise. Okay. Now, just a quick one. I want to congratulate Herbert Krapper
Right.
on his appointment as the substantive Minister for Energy.
Right.
I have had the opportunity to work with him when he was Deputy Minister for Trade, in charge of international trade. He's a fine brain, fine gentleman, and very hardworking. And I enjoyed the few moments I had with him at the Trade Ministry. And he's a fine brain. It's unfortunate that he has been given the appointment at a time where yesterday I was hearing that there will be about 3 or so shutdowns of plants and all the hula balloons. But
By the end of this week,
by the end of this
nothing
week.
is
But
done
I know
about it.
he's strong enough. I know he's strong enough. I know he has the level of intelligence and lobbying skills that will be able to put to use for Ghana. Because 18 days to elections, we do not want
16
to...
actually.
16. We do not want to experience doom so on the 7th or the 8th of December. No, not when the counting is ongoing.
So, Ben, I'm sorry. Ben, you know how you talk about sleeping in darkness? No, it just clicked and I needed to get this out. Yesterday, I didn't have light.
Yes, my lights went off around 11.
I just kept thinking, oh, Ben was right. So this morning, when you talked about energy, I'm like, yeah, it happened to me too.
Krapa is coming at the difficult times of Ghana's energy sector. But as a young man, he's gotten the opportunity to make a name for himself, to make a name for the Ghanaian
All right.
youth. Yes.
Thank you.
At least when it comes to this power situation, yesterday I knew that some places, yesterday into today, this morning, some places in Adenta, I'm saying some because I know someone who shared, and then part of Spintex as well.
Yes, I had lights out around 10 or so. It came after.
You are in that enclave?
It came around
So you see?
2 a.m., 2:30 a.m.
Yeah. So, because people called me from these places.
But I think it's
Which means you've never experienced doomsday.
no, say
But I have.
baby,
She
I
was
was saying
saying that
maybe after the victory.
you should have listened to her. Well, 2 days ago, I had a power outage till morning.
Okay, so I
At
said
least from
the
evening.
same fate with you 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Yes, our time was mine.
I don't know what is
All right,
happening,
let's-
but there's some every 3, 4, 5 days.
Yes, they are
No,
resting.
but honestly, to be biased, I think that I like the personality of Krapa, and I believe he is able to lobby these
But point is,
independent.
I know Krapa. We have to move. I know
But quickly,
Krapa, but
let's
the
take the
point basically is that when it comes to these things, no one cares about personality.
exactly.
I mean,
Then depending
Krapa is someone. Krapa is someone. Nanaya,
Yes.
Krapa is someone I know
Yes,
as a person
Right.
for what he stands for.
yes.
Excellent figure. No one cares when it comes to the deliverables.
Exactly.
It's kind of like the Black Stars and then the manager of the team saying, Ghanaians are attaching emotions to the issue
No.
because they played well on the pitch. The only thing is that they didn't score and qualify, which is nonsense to me. The end game,
That is not where I'm coming from.
is,
That's not where I'm coming
did you
from.
win?
Did you
Oh, we played good football, but we didn't win.
Listening
We played
It's a
for pride,
Museya.
Benjamin.
Listening
For pride. We
listening
played for
to the
pride.
interviews your station granted yesterday to some experts and other things, what I noticed was that the independent power producers who are threatening to shut down need some level of assurances. All right, need some level of assurances. And I'm
see,
saying
all
this
these years,
this
government
IPP
has
issue has
assured
been
them.
going on for
Exactly.
forever.
Well,
it's
I
not,
mean,
don't come and tell me about
You see,
IPP.
let's be honest.
point of-
Let's be honest with ourselves, okay? When it comes to the production of electricity, I think that government has been lazy. Government lacks the technical know-how because we, the CPP, has always advocated for a cheaper means of electricity. What will it cost for Ghana to embark on a full-scale solar energy? What about wind energy? What about extra hydro dams? Okay, so we go and bring in these plants, okay? Get virtually generators. We fuel them, we service them and all that, which is very costly. So the point is
the
that
president said all this will be over shortly. So please,
we've heard this
let's give
over
him
and
the
over
benefit of
again.
the doubt.
There was he even cut out a phrase for us.
Okay.
This one too shall pass.
He commissioned.
And we are still in
let's,
it.
You see,
let's get
And let's not forget that we had the plan for Pualugu,
have-
about $1 billion,
Yes, but if-
Yes.
if you
and
have
it's
read-
amounted to nothing.
If you have read the Great Transformational Plan by Alan very well, the energy sector, it has a section that deals with energy security and diversification. One major issue we identified.
You have to make this
Two,
brief.
very brief, has to do with infrastructure at the energy sector and finance.
When you say
All right?
infrastructure, what do you mean?
Infrastructure, as you were talking about, the infrastructure currently that is supporting our energy generation, some have been there since Kwame Nkrumah's time. Even the maintenance and the renewing of these infrastructures are something else. You've gone to some areas and you will notice that even the transformers in those areas, it's in itself causes more waste in the system than...
But you do know the ECG is in phases taking out some of this. And you also know that part of the problem is the cost of
That's what I'm
this
saying, the
equipment.
financing of
It's
it.
crazily
Yes,
expensive.
the financing of it.
And the reason we are here is because we don't plan.
We don't plan.
That's
If we
the
were
point.
planning, you would identify,
All these years.
because it makes sense. Your population is expanding.
It's
Exactly.
expanding. So you should make
Electrification,
provisions.
especially in rural areas, will
Yes,
have to
of
expand.
course.
You must give Rawlings his credit for that.
You are
electrification.
moving into
but as it's
industrialization.
expanding,
You are
if you are
moving-
not matching up,
If you're
you'll
moving
get caught
into
with this.
industrialization, and so you see, if you go
Gentlemen,
to
I'm afraid
Takoradi,
we
just
have
a
to
And
quick
see,
one.
we don't even have to
Just a
go to
quick
the
one.
industrial part of it.
The industrial
because-
parks that
because
were
it will-
proposed by Alan, you will notice that in those industrial parks, it is designed in such a way that those industrial parks themselves have their own power.
Okay, so here's what
I'm
we'll do.
saying
We'll
that
have another
outside
opportunity
of the
so that maybe we
national-
can
and,
talk
and it
about.
happened when he was
We can talk about
But
energy.
But that's they are ongoing. I mean,
Kofi,
if you
we
go
have to get into
Greater
your
Kumasi, if you
papers.
go
So,
to-
Say
Sorry.
Kofi,
The president
Nanaya,
says
please hold
that's
for us.
200 megawatts.
Quickly, let's get
Grace
into the
Power
New
Station
Republic.
is
My
absolutely
issue, though, with that first, the banner headline, is, you see,
okay.
if you're going to beef,
Yes.
right, you might as well beef well. And if you're going to poke a jab at someone, you might...
Poke harder.
No. You spell tortoise wrongly and you're trying to, jab
Oh, okay.
without the O.
Oh,
New
I
Republic.
didn't even realize it.
But go ahead.
So the New Republic says Tortoise Akufo-Addo finally completes flower pot flyover after 8 years, whilst John Mahama was to complete it in 2 years. I wonder what we're talking about. So President Akufo-Addo's assertion made during the inauguration of the interchange at the flower port in Accra that the project reflects his government's vision has been rebuffed by all informed Ghanaians familiar with the construction details of the interchange. However, it is important to note that the interchange, which the Akufo-Addo administration is finalizing in 2024, 8 years after it was contracted by the Mahama government, was initially scheduled to be completed within 2 years. Documents related to the original project contract revealed that the Mahama government had set a completion target of 2018 instead of 2024. The contract was awarded to contractors MS China Railway by the Mahama government on November 14, 2016, with the Chinese company committed to finishing the project within 2 years. A letter of acceptance from the Department of Urban Roads sent to the contractors after their bid submission officially communicated the award of the project. The
Okay,
letter,
so for the sake of time, we don't
Okay,
read so
so,
much, but just some quick thoughts so that as you speak,
Yes.
you might as well respond to them. One, over the years, the original cost, something the minority raised, that the original cost rose from 69, is it million?
Million,
Or-
yes.
Yeah, million
That's
Ghana
what it
cedis
says,
to
yes.
700 million Ghana cedis. Now, the NRA has come to say that it was because of the increased scope of work. But there are reactions from Urban Roads, others saying that these postulations don't exactly wash. From where we sit, that's one of the cankers in this country, where you start a project that is 5 million, somehow a year after, 2 years after, 3 years after, that same project balloons to 25 million, 50 million. What is it that we alone, like we do, such that our projects, of course, you know that over time, maybe there will be cost differentials, but even in construction, proper construction, room is made for those excesses. Yes. But we always balloon, and I'm not just talking about this project. What is it? You can add that to any thoughts you
we are
share.
corrupt. That's what we are. We are corrupt. So a government awards a contract, doesn't see the light of day, there's a change of government. And because you are not the person who negotiated the contract, when you are in government, you also want your 10%, your 5% and all that. So the whole thing boils down to corruption, which the Convention People's Party wants to fight head on, we are saying that we are going to make sure that bidding for contracts becomes as open as it should be. Again, we are going to always continue where governments left off. We are not going to abandon projects that was started by Rawlings, which has been left to rot. We are not going to abandon projects that was started by...
We get the point. We get the point.
Yes.
For the sake of time, you don't have to mention all the names.
So what I mean is that it is becoming as if it's deliberate, okay? Where, a government comes to power and decide that, okay, it's also my time to chop. And so even though this contract was awarded at this price, why don't we expand the cost a bit? And then blame it on what you were pointing out, which is their excuse, okay? So with time, prices increased and all that. They give all those...
but the increments must make sense.
Well, I agree, but the point is that they don't think like you, okay? Like I said, they want their 10%. I mean, the previous government have taken their 5% or 10%, and it's their time to chop. And so you see all these funny figures being channeled out. So it is what it is. But I don't get where it was supposed to be. The tortoise coming and all that.
Okay.
But I mean,
I think that has to do with the pace. So it was supposed to be completed in 2 years, and they are saying it took all this while, almost 8 years. I think that's the point in there.
If that's the point,
slow pace.
So
though technically you can't really say depending on.
I'm to agree with you, okay, which I do.
No, I think I'm not saying.
No, but you explain it better.
That is
you explain it better.
I think that is what
you explain it better, okay? Because of course it was supposed to take 2 years and it took 8 years.
Yeah.
So if that is what our understanding is, then of course, like I said, it's deliberate. From 69 to 700 million, deliberate. Okay, let's waste time so that we can blame it on inflation, on all those funny reasons they give. So it boils down to corruption.
That's almost what, 8 times, 7 times
Exactly.
the original cost. Is there any other story you want to do very quickly?
Yes.
Where we really have to.
So after being left off the hook in Ayawaso massacre, Butcher Commander plus more mayhem. I mean,
is this about Brigadier General?
Yes,
Martin
it is.
Ofosu? Okay, so we followed the story. We don't need to go back to the story.
For the sake of time.
What's your take on it?
So, and then I have Achim Chiefs Ditch Baumia and Rally Behind JM. And then I also have another EC MPP coalition on Mask, party executive enrolled as presiding and polling station officers in Ashanti region. So, because we don't have time, I think I'll just, be doing with the headlines. Show us Baumia's pedigree, Alan to Kufuor. All right. And then my favorite, Ghana Catholic bishops advocate for ecological citizenship and peaceful elections amid concerns.
They've also said that if you are found to be in Galamsey or something, if they get to know, if you come to church, make any donations, they will not. And I think not just because I'm Catholic, but that's how we have to go. You can't say, oh, that person is an armed robber. But when the armed robber comes to church and makes a donation, that one you are taking it.
You see,
if you know that this person is dabbling in this.
But there are a couple of people involved in illegalities, which almost neighbors know. Okay, this example is one way to fight corruption. I mean, imagine being, let's say, a mass server or whatever you are in church, very respected. And then you come to make a donation. And then, your Catholic priest stand in front of the congregation and says, look, we can't accept your donation because we think where you got your money from is illegal. Galamsey, you are destroying people's kidneys and livers. And you are destroying our water bodies and then our forest reserves. And so we can't take your money. We suspect, or we've heard, we've been convicted of stealing, of involving yourself in armed robbery. And because of that, we cannot accept your money. This is the way to go. Right. This is what we have been lacking. The naming and shaming is being started by the Catholic Church, and we should support it. Okay. And I have to confess I'm a Catholic as well. And so I support this, entirely.
All right.
I support
I think we have to end there with your gets his reactions quickly, because I've not even done my paper yet. Quick reactions.
I support the name and shame. I think it's one thing that we have been calling for in a very long time. And even the Asante during the conference that was held in Kumasi said that within the room, the conference room where they were seated, they knew very well those of the
Chiefs,
people
yes.
who are involved in
Galamsey.
Galamsey. He started distilling some of his chiefs who were involved in Galamsey. And I think that the church should take it up, just as the Catholic stated. And we should not go by the adage that Sikafi any baby. Once it's killing people, once it's destroying the nation, it is Sikafi, and we need to be able to deal with it. Now, the flower pot interchange project, and then I would build it on your point and your question that should it always be the case that the cost or budget in terms of infrastructural development would always go up. I'm not quoting you verbatim, but of course, there has never been a case where an infrastructural project or a budget has come down. Exactly. It's always going to go up. But you see, it's two things. The lack of the continuity of these projects, all right? When a government has refused to continue a former administration's projects, that is because probably they are looking at avenues, as you have said, to redesign the project financially and see what they can also benefit from. A typical example is the Cocoa Roads. Yes. It was started by I think the NDC in 2016 or 15. When the NPP took over in 2017, they said they were going to investigate what had gone into these contracts.
Financial review, yes.
Financial review.
Yes.
Now, from the time all those projects were halted till today, nothing has come of it. Now, if these contractors had worked to about a 70% completion, 60% completion, that is Ghana's money. Now, you would go onto these projects and you realize that they have been washed off by rains and other elements, all right? Now, you would have to go back to the drawing board and start this entire project again, which is going to cost Ghana money. And that is basically causing financial loss to the state.
All right.
All right. Now, you notice that this is a project that has been started in 2017, or is it 2016 by the John Mahama administration. They have not been able to explain to Ghanaians what actually caused the upping of the financing or the budget of this whole contract. And I think they need to explain to Ghanaians because part of the money is a loan, I'm told. Part are resources that were gathered by the government of Ghana. And so whether or not these are monies that are supposed to be for Ghanaians. And I think that there is a need for us to look at it.
All right. No,
infrastructure financing is important, and that is where most of these political parties get their political fundings from aside Galamsey. And we have to look at it.
So in maybe some 40 seconds, I'll wrap through the daily graphic. Economy on recovery course, the president is saying that, driven by robust performances across construction industry, agriculture, consumer demand, and tourism. That's according to Mr. President. Of course, he was at the new Bank of Ghana HQ yesterday. Customs, there's been a seizure of firearms at the Tema port. I'm talking about 53 pistols, 74 magazines, and 65 pieces of live ammunition concealed in 3 suitcases in a container. We are not going to react to these stories. I'm just putting them out. And Section 138 of Customs Act 2015, Act 891, the non-declaration and concealment of firearms and magazines and live ammunition amounts to smuggling and concealment of weapons, contravening that section, 138. And finally, I don't know, some of you would remember, government hands over reconstructed Nigerian High Commission building. You remember it was down. The government has reconstructed the Nigerian High Commission building that was demolished in June 2020 by some individuals under the cover of darkness and handed it over to the commission. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration spoke about this. Let me see. The minister further called for review of other costs such as medical. Okay. We don't have the cost here, but it's definitely something we ought to look into. I remember I spoke to the High Commissioner around this time. But gentlemen, we're grateful for your time.
Not
Nana
quick
Sapong.
about
our
how
time
the
is up.
president is lying to us about an economic.
I think you could choose a better word than.
Of course, I mean we all know that the economy is not bouncing back. It's further deteriorating. I mean, how can you tell us the economy is recovering?
Alan was in Bono yesterday. He's in Bono East today.
Okay.
And then the reception has been very great. We thank God.
Gentlemen, thank you. Nana Sapong is political assistant to the Alan campaign. Osei Kofi Akwa is National Communications Director with the CPP. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining the conversation. Interestingly, both of you are dressed like Afafanto.
Well, I am more of
the CPP believe in infrastructural
They
development and
don't
go there.
industrialization.
You don't go there.
And so they love everything industrialization.